So the iPhone event for 2025 has occurred and we have a totally new iPhone design simply called iPhone Air. And we're going to take a look at it now without simply repeating Apple's marketing catchphrases. I'm going to be doing a video for each of the newly announced iPhones and I'm going to cut through marketing fog and give it to you straight. So let's get into this one. This is the brand new iPhone design from Apple for 2025, following hot in the heels of the Samsung S25 Edge from earlier this year. So I'm going to be comparing this iPhone heavily to that phone. The main part of the body is only 5.6 millimeters thick, which is amazing. The Galaxy Edge is 5.8 millimeters, but that's so close you won't even notice. People are saying, who asked for thinner phones? Well, I did. I want a thinner and lighter phone. I am fed up of carrying huge slabs of metal in my pocket that are so heavy that if I put it in my gym shorts pocket, one side actually gets pulled down. I hate big heavy phones, so I like the new thin trend. I also want smaller screen options, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Let's talk about the design first, and oh my god, what a camera bump. This design reminds me of the Google Nexus 6P, remember that? That had a huge straight across camera ridge that not a lot of people liked, but one that I have to say looked better than this one on the iPhone Air. This camera bump is chunky and holds one camera as opposed to the two on the Galaxy Edge. But I'll get more into cameras later. It's got a spacecraft grade titanium frame. On the plus side, it's polished, giving a super shiny finish like the stainless steel on the iPhone 14, which I really like. Sadly, this phone carries over what is now the old glass sandwich design with glass on both sides, and as a consequence, it looks already dated compared to the new iPhone 17 Pro. But I want to talk a bit more about the new camera bump, which goes all the way across the phone. In a sense, it's a good choice as it does not have any practical effect on the handling of the phone over the camera bump over on one side, yet it gives the designers a lot more internal volume to work with. The issue I have is I still have the actual camera lens sticking out on one side. If you wanted to create maximum internal volume, why not raise the bump to the level of the lens and get more room for cooling and battery and all that? That would similarly have no practical effect on the handling of the phone or the cases that people make for it. And hey, maybe you could have fit a SIM card. On the plus side, it is still using titanium. And yes, I'll keep saying that titanium is a plus for phones because, like it or not, titanium is significantly harder than aluminium, meaning that titanium phones will scratch less than aluminium ones. I remember the days of the aluminium, as it was only 2 years ago, and they scratched a lot, even if you kept them in a case. I'll talk more about this in my iPhone 17 video because that's where they've switched to aluminium. On the negative side, the colors are the same washed out colors when I know people really want the bright colors or the black and the silver. If you're going to offer different colors, put some color into it, man, like you did for your Pro iPhones. Not these muted colors that look like you're running out of ink. Now, I did allude to it before, but these phones have no SIM card slot, no matter where in the world that you buy them. Now, I know you guys in America are probably going to be okay with this because the way you guys buy phones is different. But in Europe, a lot of people still buy unlocked phones and they get their cellular package separately. I don't think this is going to go down well. They say let's not forget the past or we will repeat the mistakes. Well, I remember the days of TDMA and CDMA phones before we had SIM cards, and it was a pain or impossible to change phones, and I don't want to go back to those days. They even had the audacity to call the SIM card an old piece of plastic, remember?
And compared to that decades-old piece of plastic,
just like how the headphone jack was supposedly some kind of relic from the past.
The phone jack is over 100 years old. Courage.
So like the headphone jack, removing the SIM card is probably just a cost-saving measure for them. One less hole to make in titanium, one less part to machine, one less slot mechanism to manufacture. And that makes it worse for us, the customer. Now, the display is a 6.5-inch display, which I'm not thrilled about, but if you're making a thinner phone, you have to get the volume for the battery from somewhere, and actually the S25 Edge has an even bigger display. I think it's 6.8. Speaking of which, you know the battery life is going to be bad when they launch a special MagSafe battery just for this phone. It is really just for this phone. It doesn't even fit on any of the other iPhone 17s. The display is 120Hz, and really it couldn't have been anything else at this price point, so no extra marks for Apple there. It's also 3000, it's my maximum brightness, which is again just about what is considered acceptable for a flagship phone in 2025. They say it's got an anti-reflective coating, but they say a lot of things in these product announcements, so we're just going to have to wait and see how it turns out. It'll be interesting to compare it to the S25 Ultra and see if they've one-upped them. And now for some huge negatives. This thing only has one speaker. I think this is an absurdity in 2025. I think the last phone I had with one speaker was actually an iPhone 5S, but the last iPhone with a single speaker at all was a 6S, which was in 2015. Guys, that was 10 years ago. The iPhone Air takes sound back a decade, and that is not acceptable. If they could not find a way to put stereo speakers in this phone, they should just not have made the phone. And yes, just for comparison, the S25 Edge does have stereo speakers. As far as CPU goes, it has the new 819 Pro with more squares, and some squares even have squares inside them now. Crucially, the A19 Pro is said to be more efficient, saving as much battery as possible in this thin phone. Now, the phone also has built-in AI accelerators. There's also a new N1 radio chip and a new C1X cellular modem, which to me means be very careful because these could either be really good or they could be very bad. Now let's talk about cameras. Or I should say camera, because this £1,000 phone only has one of them, when on the S25 Edge they managed to have two and in a smaller, more elegant camera bump to boot. At least it's the best of the iPhone camera modules. It's the 26mm equivalent f1.6 48 megapixel camera with sensor shift stabilization. Apple tries to tell us that this is a fusion camera. I'm gonna try to put an echo on that in the edit, so if it doesn't work, sorry. So they're trying to say it's also a 52mm 12 megapixel camera. Two cameras in one. If only physics didn't exist. Let's be real, it's not two cameras in one, it's one camera, and you crop in to get 2x zoom. And as you know, once you have to crop into a sensor, you're throwing away pixels and all of the light that those pixels gathered. The whole optical quality zoom thing is just marketing jargon, and I don't like when companies use those kind of things because it just feels a little bit deceptive. Now, at least it has a good selfie camera. It's the same 18 megapixel selfie camera as the iPhone 17, which is actually a good improvement on paper. The good news is that it's 2 times the sensor size as before, and it is square. Now, does this mean Square Instagram is going to make a comeback? Well, not quite, because it's not using all of the sensor at the same time, or at least not in any of the modes shown in the keynote. As with the main camera, anytime you're not using the whole sensor, you are throwing away pixels and the light that fell onto those pixels. However, if you have to throw away pixels, having center stage for photos is a great way to do that. It's basically auto framing, and this will make a lot more good photos at 18 megapixels. Also, if you have to throw pixels away, might as well implement super electronic image stabilization. Just remember that one thing has not changed at all. You are going to need a lot of light to get good photos out of this. So the iPhone Air might have been a great revelation if wasn't for the S25 Edge. But that phone does exist, and it came out first and beats the iPhone Air in nearly every category. So because of that, my judgment on the iPhone Air is you kind of balls this up, Apple. Even their own marketing feels like an admission of failure. Words like, this is what the future feels like. Like if you were confident in the phone that you made, you would have said this is the future, right? And this makes me sad because Apple used to be a great company, and while I still buy from them because of the hardware and software support, their physical stores that I can go to, I really wish that they were innovating like they once did. Samsung and even Google have now definitely taken over on the engineering front. The 17 Air is unfortunately a half-baked product that wasn't ready to be released, and I really don't think anybody should buy one. Hey, if you like this analysis, I've already done one for the iPhone 17, and I'm going to be doing one for the 17 Pro next. So if you want to see those, definitely subscribe to my channel. Also on launch day, I'm going to be getting an iPhone 17 Pro and the Air, and I'm going to be doing an unboxing. You definitely don't want to miss that. So please like and subscribe. See you again soon. Bye for now.